Good morning, happy Monday, happy episode 2 of season 2 of the Christian Student Diaries. This book is so cute. And I wanted to start this diary out with reading with y'all what my devotion just told me because it's so encouraging, okay? It says, Jesus, my guide, help me to go gently through this day, keeping my eyes on you. I ask you to open up the way before me as I take steps of trust along the path of life with you as my guide. Sometimes the way before me appears to be blocked. I've discovered that if I focus too much on the obstacle or on the searching for a way around it, I'm likely to go off course. So I need to stay focused on you, the shepherd who is leading me along my life journey. If I keep my eyes on you, the obstacle will be behind me before I know it, and I may not even understand how I passed through it. Amen. I got myself a cup of coffee and we're sat at my desk to start on my work day. Morning, happy Tuesday. It's a snow day, y'all, and we still got homework to do. My teacher sent out yesterday and was like, even if it snows, remember you do not have inclement weather like pass for the rest of the assignments due this week. Please make sure you're turning your assignments in on time. If there's a power outage in Texas, we'll change the assignment due dates, but for now, please make sure you turn your assignments in. She said, girl, what are you talking about, snow day? Get to that laptop. It's currently 10:59 and we're sat at my desk to start on my morning work session. I made a to-do list yesterday. Y'all already know these to-do lists are actually helping me out a lot. I just have to make a point of remembering to write them and then reference them throughout the day. But I was pretty productive yesterday. I crossed out pretty much everything. But today I have to read or listen to my sociolinguistics week 2 lecture and then begin the readings for that class, and then I want to do 2 chapters of reading for another class because my other class, my writing about place class, assigned me to read an entire book in a week. That's 300 and something pages, so day by day, step by step. So I'm gonna listen to 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿's new album. 𝐬𝐫𝐶 is a K-pop group that me and my family have been listening to literally since I was in the 6th grade. So I'm gonna listen to them and then switch to worship later on. But I wanted to listen to their album because it came out yesterday and I haven't listened to it. Ready to work. Disciplined and getting up after doing something that you said you were going to do and you actually did it, and now you're like, now I have free time, now I can just dilly-dally for a little minute. But we're in my reading chair because I'm about to read some of the Christian nonfiction that I showed you guys last episode. This is Who You Following by Sadie Robertson Huff. Actually really have been enjoying this in the questions she's been asking about kind of our relationship as Christians with social media, likes, influence, followers, perception of having everything together. It's a really intricate kind of book that asks you a lot of good questions about that. So I'm gonna do 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of nonfiction, and then 15 minutes of fiction. I found this opposite attract Christian romance into hockey romance, and they're in a hockey rink on the cover. It's snowing outside. I think you get the gist. It's gonna be a perfect winter book, and it's called The Game She Hates. So I'm gonna try this and see if I like it, and that's the vibe. reading mode, but this book is so cute. I love the plot already. It's about a woman who is a Christian child therapist. She was adopted at a young age and grew up in like foster homes and everything. A hockey player who has like a troubling childhood past that kind of like walks around with a chip on his shoulder, and the child therapist, her name's Pearl. I don't know why her name is Pearl, but her name's Pearl. And the hockey player, his name is Zane, are about to meet and do their first therapy session together because a member of Pearl's church is actually the hockey coach of Zane's team and was like, hey, can you meet with Zane? He really needs a good therapist because Pearl was the therapist of the coach's son. I hope that made sense. She's been through a heartbreak in the beginning of the book, and she literally has like a little prayer room filled with like scriptures and stuff, and she went in there and prayed and was like, God, like, I'm so sorry for just not giving you my heart to comfort. And I was like, this is so good already. Update on the book. I'm still reading away, and I think I'm loving this book so much because the female lead is so dedicated to making sure that her future husband or whoever she talks to is equally yoked, because she's had the past experience of talking to guys who act like they're Christians and who actually aren't. And I feel like any Christian girl knows the struggles, not even just like talking to a guy romantically and them saying that they're Christian or not, but just being friends with people and thinking that they're truly Christians but they're not. Like, so I'm feeling for her, and she is so strict, but I'm like, that's how we need to be. Like, I'm taking notes from her, because she currently got invited over to his house and she was like, girl, I'm not going over to his house. I'll bring my best friend and we can go over, but I'm not going to his house, just me and him. And so she goes over to his house and she's thinking about like how nice he is and how nice his house is, because they actually really have been hitting it off. But she was like, he listens really well, he asks really good questions. And then she says, but then again, he's a guy who doesn't believe in my Lord and Savior. I shouldn't be focusing on his qualities right now, because like I fully do believe that the Lord can change people's hearts, but I don't think it's my portion, and I don't think it's this female lead's portion to talk to someone who doesn't know Jesus and doesn't even believe in God. Like, that is crazy. It's one thing for someone to have a progressing relationship with him, but I still think y'all need to be on the same level spiritually. If not, he's more mature than you spiritually. But she's just, I think that's why I love this book so much, and that's why I'm like reading down, because she's really for real. Like, she's really not doing it. And I feel like this is the first Christian book I've read in a long time that first of all feels very modern. Like, this is a hockey romance. Like, are you kidding? So it feels super modern, but it also feels super realistic, because like anytime they hang out, it's either in a public setting, and if they go on a one-on-one place that's more intimate, she brings her best friend with her. And she's like, and she also makes it very clear that when they talk on the phone or he'll text her and he'll like ask her things, she'll be like, I don't think friends talk about these things, like whether it's just like dating history or anything, because he's not making any type of like advances at her. But I just really love the portrayal of like what it means to set godly boundaries in a relationship in this book. love saving my favorite podcast episodes for long readings like today's. Like today's reading is 42 pages, and I have a Well That's Good podcast episode up, and it's the Duck Dynasty revival episode where they're talking about how they are reviving Duck Dynasty for another season. I used to watch Duck Dynasty when I lived in Dallas, Georgia. If you don't know, there's a Dallas, Georgia. It's very, very country, and I used to secretly watch Duck Dynasty whenever I went to my friends' houses and stuff because that's what everybody was watching. It's very country out there, and so watching this while doing my homework, it's just bringing all the nostalgic vibes back. I used to love Duck Dynasty, and everybody's so grown that I'm like looking at them like I did not realize how much older these people were than me when I was watching the show. Like they just seem like they were the same age as me. They are in fact not the same age as me, like at all. It's a little bit later. We finished the reading and I ate lunch. I'm just chilling now. Probably about to watch some YouTube or a K-drama or read some more of my book because I'm actually 72% done. But I want to chat with you guys about the realities of being saved and pursuing smartness, pursuing a higher education. Because being saved and smart just is a matter of balancing your earthly smarts and your spiritual wisdom and finding a way for those two to coexist where you're nurturing both. And I think that's a really hard thing to do. So I think when people talk about how they went off track when they were at a secular university or pursuing this degree, it's like, I think secular or Christian, everyone is going to run into plateaus because it's hard to pursue knowledge in two different types of worlds. You're doing it for the heavenly world and then you're doing it for the earthly world. But there's still so much beneficial in pursuing a degree, pursuing an education, because I always look at it as no matter what I'm going to be with my English degree, I'm going to be a Christian with a degree that can work in the public workforce and can bring God in whatever room she's in. That's what I'm looking at. Versus I'm a Christian without a degree who can still enter these places through the grace of God, but God has also given me the grace and the ability to get these degrees so I have the credentials and the grace. And that is an amazing combination. So being saved and smart, yes, it's hard, but it's all just a balance of spiritual wisdom, earthly wisdom, and just combining the two and making sure that everybody's being fed. But you can do that through the power of the Holy Spirit, just tapping into His wisdom. If I would have known that when I was younger, 18, 19, would have made it easier. But at 22, I know it now, and I'm glad for everything that I've been through. I'm glad for everything that I've learned in my time. And I'm just glad to keep growing and to be filming stuff like this with you guys and truly living the life that, I'm supposed to be living while making content titled and depicting the Christian walk. How I'm supposed to be, Mom sent a dog calendar in our family group chat, and I was like, why did she send this? Tell me why she submitted our dog for this calendar, and he made it. He's March. Like, are you kidding? He's in a calendar that it's $25. He's in a whole calendar. Like, that's so random. I've made myself a little dinner. Literally just some nachos, and now it's K-drama watching time. Guys, we're at the desk again. My pen, my stylus wasn't working for the first 5 minutes that I sat at the desk, and that almost was my final straw. It almost was. A cup of coffee, and I'm currently listening through a voice thread that my teacher posted for my energy humanities class, and I think I'm just going to take it one class at a time today. I have a to-do list written in my good old book per usual, but I think, like I said, I'm feeling really low energy today and just tired for some reason, so I don't want to push myself too much because reading tired is not a good mix because you will not retain anything. Your notes won't be good, so I'm not going to push myself. But today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, so I'm just trying to give myself some energy with the idea that tomorrow literally is Friday. Tomorrow's the end of the week, so we got this. We just got to keep pushing through. So yeah, but Bible time this morning was amazing. I was worshiping to some old Mav. It just was, the vibes were great, because sometimes in seasons of your life you just have to just like remember that like the Lord has gotten you through so much, so he's not gonna leave you now. Like whatever you're waiting for, whatever you're praying for, just remember that the Lord literally has gotten you through so much. He's delivered you and redeemed you and brought you through and to so many things that like you can't get discouraged. So yeah, I had to just worship a little bit this morning. It was good for my soul. I feel great now, and I had a great bowl of oatmeal. Like, breakfast was amazing. I was just really enriching my spirit this morning. So we're gonna get to work. I feel better even just talking and like thinking about 15-30 minutes ago when I was just singing worship, and like the amount of energy you can get from just worshiping the Lord. Sounds crazy, but that's always a good energizer. So yeah, we're gonna get through this, have a productive little day, or maybe have a chill day. We'll see what the vibes are, but we're gonna be productive in the sense that we're gonna get classwork done. So we're gonna continue, but wanted to give you guys a little update, tell y'all how we're doing. And my hair looks like a mullet a little bit. But yeah, let's get to work. Yeah, I'm logging out for the day. It's 1:40. I've been working on my energy humanities class. Work this week is really interesting because they're talking about this concept. Please hear me out when I say this, okay? Called cornucopianism, which basically is a concept that was created by this man. His name was Bacon, in the early 1600s, because he was inspired after reading Genesis, right? He was inspired after reading Genesis and wondered if we as humans could create the Garden of Eden before the fall, like if we could return everything to how it was supposed to be. And so this idea is that basically like civilization can reverse or kind of remedy the effects of the downfall of living in a natural world, in a world that like stuff changes. And so that's what we had to talk about, and I was like, that is so interesting how a lot of people don't like to discuss kind of Christianity within secular academics and stuff, but secular academics often does incorporate ideas of Christianity in them. So as a Christian student, I'm always like, that is very interesting to come upon, because you don't often see people talk about like how, an example, this is Victorian thermodynamics, okay? Victorian thermodynamics. They're discussing these ideas. Happy Friday, guys. It is currently 10 a.m. I'm gonna update you guys on the book. I finished the book, She Hating the Game, or She Hates the Game, The Game She Hates. I finished it last night, so I need to recap that book with you guys, but we're about to do Bible time. I'm feeling very encouraged about today. I think I'm just gonna take it easy because I really have been struggling with motivation and wanting to do work this week, but discipline has really been kicking in, and I've been able to get almost literally everything I need to get done this week done. The only thing I have left is my energy humanities discussion board, or like voice thread. I have to answer 2 more questions on that, and then I need to finish up a reading for class. But those are literally the only 2 things I have to do today, and today's Friday, so I'm so glad like that's the only thing I need to do. I finished the discussion board for my sociolinguistics class earlier this morning, and I worked on it a lot yesterday night, so I'm feeling confident, and I'm just praising God that like discipline kicked in and I just got what I need to get done. And now I don't have like a to-do list of a whole bunch of things to do now that it's Friday, end of the week, because I don't like doing homework on the weekends. I feel like it just kind of messes up the flow of things, but we may have to start doing that to get a little bit ahead. So yeah, we'll get there when we get there though. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm so happy we are getting to an end of Jeremiah. I'm so just blown away by the goodness of Jeremiah, and I really want to do like a Jeremiah reading recap. Let me know if you guys would be interested in monthly recaps of like every book of the Bible that I've been reading with the Bible plans, because I'm already reading it. I might as well do a video like recapping it, so all of us can feel collectively like we finished a book. This is a recap. I feel like that would be such a cool idea that I may start implementing, but let me know if you guys would like that. I feel like I'm still gonna do it, but I would like to know if you guys would be interested in that. But I'm gonna get to reading, and yeah. We're at the desk, and as I set up for my morning like homework session, I want to talk to you guys about The Game She Hates, because that book was so good. So it followed the story of Pearl and Zane. Pearl is a believer who's been hurt by men who have claimed to be believers but not actually been believers, and like she just ends up getting her heart broken, so she's really like guarded. Zane is a hockey player who was not a believer but is on a team with like lots of believers and has always heard the word, but he's really like hurt because he grew up in a really broken home because his father was very abusive. And Pearl also was adopted and is a Christian counselor for adopted Christian children, or families rather. And so their romance was just so good because Pearl stood on business, y'all. Like Pearl literally anytime, like the first time they met, Zane was like very smitten with her, and Pearl was like, are you a believer? Like, do you know about God? And he didn't, and she was like, okay, so we can be friends. It was just such a good book, and I feel like oh my gosh, that was just such a sweet treat to run across because I did not expect that book to be so good. Her second book comes out today. The Class She Skips is a single dad Christian romance, so we're gonna start reading this today. If anybody's wondering what happened to Six of Crows, I think I'm DNFing it for now because honestly, I thought I was going to be able to read it right now, but I just don't think I'm in the mood for a thick fantasy like how Six of Crows is. Like, granted, it's not the thickest, but like it's also not just a thin, tiny little book. So I think I'm going to continue reading my romances. Also, I don't think Six of Crows is like enough. It's like fast paced enough for me. I'm not going to like take out the bookmark though, because I think I will remember where I'm at if I pick this up like later this month or maybe even next month. But I just want to give like a book update because I also have been really thinking on the Jenny Han To All the Boys I Loved Before series, and I was like, maybe I'll just finish this series or start picking up this series actively to finish, because when 𝐬𝐸 came out last week, I literally was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how I loved the world of To All the Boys I Loved Before. And all these books are supposed to be clean minus a little bit of language, so I feel like I may pick this one up as well, but I'll keep you guys updated next week probably, because the current focus on reads is finishing Who Are You Following, which I should be able to finish by the end of this week, and I've really been loving it as well. So that's all my book talk. I have a coffee and we're gonna get started on my energy humanities work, or rather finish my energy humanities work and get to do some reading. But I'm so excited about the reads. I can't believe that new book is out, y'all. Oh, I'm so excited to start it. So to answer the question of what the role of energy is within this 19th century English literature period, off everything on our to-do list for today. I finished my energy humanities voice thread. That's what I wanted to finish, and then I also finished my reading for my writing about place class. I read half the book like detailed, actually read through every single page, and then the other half of the book I took summarization notes from like the beginning, middle, and ends of the chapters to summarize the points, because the book was 324 pages long. So I read half of it, and my writing about place class assigned us several readings and videos to watch that essentially overlap with each other. That's why I decided to take just summarization notes for the rest of the book that I had been reading for the week, because then I started on the other reading for my writing about place class, and that book had it outlined a lot better, and there was literally like in the introduction a summary of every single chapter. So I literally just wrote down the summary for every single chapter, in my notes. So I have like the summaries for all my chapters here. And then I went and took notes from major points of each chapter. So I actually did read majority of the chapters. I think I stopped at chapter, I want to say 6 or 7, and there was 9 chapters of the book. So I feel like I have a good grasp on my writing about place readings and stuff for me to then answer the discussion board next week, because that's my only class that changed discussion boards and mood dates because of the snow. So feeling very productive and also feeling very prepared for next week. Okay, it is currently 2:43 and I'm about to start the class she skips, the Christian romance that I was talking to you guys about earlier. I'm actually kind of scared because I read the synopsis of this and I don't typically like books like this based off of the synopsis, but I really want to give it a try because I really did enjoy her writing in the first book. So yeah, and apparently this is the second book, a part of a healing love series that she's doing that are all Christian romances. So let's see. By Sadie Robertson Huff, and at the end she has this thing called a follower reset for anybody who's trying to just kind of reset who they follow on social media after reading this book. If you were inspired to do so, or if you feel like your following list is good, like she's like, okay, don't unfollow anybody if you feel like you have a really good list of people you follow. But I've been meaning to go through and clutter my socials anyway, so I went on Instagram and unfollowed a bunch of people that just either I never interact with, or anytime I see their stories or content I'm like, ooh, what is going on? Like, this is just not good memories for me. And it was actually really fun to do. I'm praying that I don't get any like texts or anything of like, why did you unfollow me? Because I think some people you can be friends with, but following them on social media is just not the best because they post crazy stuff, like, in all honesty. But then I also did it on TikTok, and I was following so many people on TikTok that just genuinely don't post content, so I needed to declutter. And I'm trying to do my YouTube, but I've had my YouTube for such a long time that I'm like, this list is so long. But that's a lot of what the book talks about, of you find yourself following people and watching the content of so many different people that you don't necessarily interact with, you aren't entertained by, you just simply watch their content because you're presented with it because you clicked that follow button like how many years ago. So I really enjoyed this book, and I really most definitely got deeper insights from just who are you following. It was a lot about like following you, just your future self, and following God, and like not holding on to your past, because social media also does a really good job of documenting your past. So like it was just a really good book, and I feel like this was like the perfect time for me to read this book. But now that I'm done with who are you following, I'm going to get back into the class she skips, but I wanted to let y'all know that we finished who are you following, and I most definitely enjoyed it. That being said, I want to thank you guys so much for rocking with me for week 2, or episode 2 of the Christian Student Diaries. It was a snowy week, but we were still productive, we were still disciplined, and I just want to say I'm so proud of you, to whoever's watching this and was disciplined this week, or disciplined today, and just did what they needed to do without motivation. They just did it because they knew it needed to be done, because that is a step closer towards being a Proverbs 31 woman. Thank you guys so much for watching, so much for tuning in with episode 2 of season 2 of the Christian Student Diaries, and don't forget to always protect your peace. Bye. Thank you so much for watching.